Hi there, listener. This is Prague Talk, a podcast from Radio Prague International. My name is Ian Willoughby. My guest this time is social science graduate Martina Dvořáková. Martina was so tired of the gender imbalance in household labour in Czechia that she did something about it, creating something called the Fair Household Audit. It's a questionnaire that helps couples reflect on who does what in the home and whether that division of work is truly equitable. I discussed several aspects of the project with Martina Dvořáková and why many Czech women won't call themselves feminists in this edition of Prague Talk. What is your own professional background, Martina, and what's your own family situation?
I studied social sciences here in Prague and in Amsterdam, and I have been working in NGO sector since then. I worked abroad here in social work, palliative care, and now I'm doing this initiative of Fair Household.
And what's your household like? You have children?
Yeah, I'm married. I have 2 kids, 6 and 10. And everybody asks me if I'm living in a fair household, and I always say yes, I do. Because it means different things for different people, and for me it is like feeling free to express my wishes and needs and be able to talk to my husband and to adjust our careers and lives and free time for both of us to be happy.
And where did you get the idea of having this survey and this whole project of the Fair Household?
Mm-hmm. Like the idea was born during COVID-19 pandemic because like at some point our life just shrunk to our households, and we could see that women were like overwhelmed and exhausted. Like everybody had to pitch in, but women just did like the vast majority of stuff like homeschooling and well-being of everybody and cleaning, cooking. And I was struck by like, okay, these patterns in the families, they don't work. We need to do something about it. And I thought this would be an opportunity to change something. But then when the school opened again and we went back to where we were before, it's just like nothing changed. Nothing has changed. And I decided to do something about it. Yeah.
What's a strong sign that somebody is living in a household that isn't fair?
I think it's very much a feeling thing, You need to observe how you feel at home. If you have the same opportunity to, to do your hobbies or to adjust your career to whatever you want it to be. But also like any sign of dissatisfaction with how the division of labor is in your household. Yeah, I think everybody knows if he or she is happy about it.
I must confess, when I was a child, my mother would get my sisters to do the housework, and I was allowed to sit on the couch, and I knew that it was wrong, but I stayed sitting on the couch.
Yeah, sure. I would have done the same.
Would you say that's a common situation in Czech households?
I hope not anymore. I have the same experience when I was little, but we were two. I saw it in a neighbor's family because we were 2 girls in our family. So, but I saw it as well, and it struck me back then. I just was like, what? How is that possible? I hope it is not the case anymore, but I can't be 100% sure.
Well, it probably hasn't changed that much in 25 years, 30 years.
Yeah, it hasn't. But on the other hand, we know from data that fathers are much more involved in caring of kids than the generation of my father was. So something has changed.
About the audit, how does it work, and what are the things that you're asking the participants?
Household audit is a PDF, like in PDF format that you can download, print out, and then try to fill in. Like it's a list of items that we usually do at home that just keep our household running and keep everybody happy in the family.
Like putting the kids to bed.
Yeah, exactly. I made sure that there is not only there is physical labor like cleaning, cooking, doing shopping, but also mental and emotional labor, which is in my opinion, a huge part of the domestic labor. So there's also like organizing, planning birthdays, like making appointments, doctor's appointments, I don't know, like anticipating needs of other people, talking to kids before bed how their day was, for example. And so you can just fill in who does what and to what extent, and then you can talk about it, compare your results, and look like, why do we see differently? And maybe I am doing more in this section, maybe can you take over?
Do the participants send the PDFs back to you, or they just assess themselves?
No. That's like the totally private activity. But we are working, or my husband is working on an online version of this household audit. So this would be great for me that I will see the results in an anonymous way as well.
There were some categories that were surprising to me. One, speaking with children. Why is that a task? Yeah. Or how is that a task for anybody?
Yeah, I think it's a biggest part of like keeping the family together and developing the like strong ties between members of the family. And it's sometimes it's joy, sometimes it's not, you know.
But are some parents not doing it? That's what's curious to me.
Yeah, I think they don't. I think it can happen that in the family, one of the couple just like devotes time to this kind of activity, and that the other one doesn't see it so important maybe, but also benefits from it, you know. Also,
you have planning and initiating sex. Is that also a household duty?
Yeah, it is. Like it sounds weird if you say duty, but it's a like important part of couple's life. And if somebody takes care of it more than the other one, I think we should give them the credit.
And typically, what kind of feedback do you get from the people or the couples who take part in the audit?
I think there are roughly two groups of people. One, couples who are pretty happy about how they divide their work at home, and they are just used to work on their relationship, and they see the audit as another tool, how to have like a fun activity for one evening, just to let's sit down, let's look at it and talk about us and have fun and maybe change a little bit something here and there. And then other bigger group, and it is mostly women who download the audit, who are not happy about it, and they want to change something, and they maybe need to push a little bit husband or partner to work on it together. And they tell me they find it useful because now they have something in hand, something very concrete that they can talk about. The discussion is not abstract about like, I think you do, I think I do, but they can see it on paper.
And it's also kind of objective.
Yeah, in a way. But, you know, even the couples who are happy and there is no argument or disagreement about, usually they disagree in every item. It's very subjective how people see their contribution in the household, even though they are happy about it.
Do some partners feel that they are doing more than they're actually doing, and then when they do the survey, they realize, I'm not pulling my weight at home?
Yeah, I just got an email from a guy yesterday who wrote me exactly this. He was like, I was really thinking that we do roughly 50-50, but I just had to admit that it was not the case when we fill it in. So, yeah.
You don't get the data back yourself, so maybe you don't know the answer to this, but are there cases where it turns out that the guy is doing more than half?
Yeah, I don't know this from the audits, but I know it from sociological data. We know that there is a small segment of society where men does more than women, but it's really tiny.
I'm not surprised that it's tiny. I don't know any guy who does more than half. And frankly, I was just saying to you earlier, I myself would be almost afraid to do this audit because when I saw the categories like, organizing social stuff or making appointments, I was thinking, well, I don't do any of those things. I feel like I'm doing a lot of other stuff, but I'm not doing, in many categories, I'm not filling.
Yeah. But I didn't put any points or score in the audit because my goal is not to encourage competitiveness between people. I just want people to be able to talk about it on the basis of something. And that's what you say is very typical because that's what women complain about nowadays. Most days, this is this mental load. It's the real invisible labor in the households nowadays, and we need to talk about it more and try to divide it fairly.
Is it possible that the women, I guess, who would most benefit from this are the ones who are least likely to do it because their partners wouldn't take part? I mean, if you take a couple where the guy doesn't do anything, he won't take part in this audit.
Yeah, that's true. I'm aware that the audit will work only for a certain type of people who are able to communicate, to give and receive feedback. That's why I would like to focus this year maybe to give people more tools how to communicate better, or how to get to the point where they are able to fill in the audit.
Are you aware of any couples doing the audit who are not heterosexual?
Yeah, I am. I actually did an interview with a lesbian couple, which people can read on the website.
And what was the situation there?
Actually, it was like similar. In this case, it was very similar to heterosexual couples. There were like different needs. One of them had bigger need for cleanliness and the other one didn't. And they went through couples therapy as well to sort it out and ended up in a point where both of them were quite happy.
Does this whole thing sometimes, though, come down to what people are good at? I'm not great at organising things. My wife organises things in her sleep. And she's so good at organising things. And she does it much more quickly and easily than I ever would. So I leave it to her.
Yeah.
Isn't that normal?
Yeah, it is, actually. I think that's no problem in it if your wife is happy about it.
She's also a great cook.
Yeah.
And a great cleaner.
Oh, okay, then.
Now I'm starting to exaggerate.
Yeah. No, I think that's what psychologists and psychotherapists advise. Like, in the beginning, just say to each other what kind of work you like or don't bother you, and just take it and say, like, I'm going to do this, and the rest you need to divide according to your time, opportunity, or,
But I would take all the easy ones.
Yeah,
like
no, you
talking
didn't.
to the children.
Yeah, but that's good that you are aware of it, so you can talk about it. That's enough. Just be able to know about it and talk about it.
Generally, how do you think the situation in Czechia is with regard to division of household duties compared to in other European countries?
Yeah, not very good. Like in general, in gender equality index, we are not doing very well. And Europe, you can divide roughly in northern and western countries, which are doing better, and southern and eastern countries, which are not doing that good. And yeah, there's a lot we need to change in gender equality in general.
And what are the countries that are the most progressive in this area?
Yeah, it's not a surprise. It's Iceland or other Nordic countries. And, Iceland actually is usually ranks the first one in all these competitions in gender equality. And yet, like in 2023, there was a women's strike because of gender equality, unpaid work, and sexual violence, So
even in the best country, things aren't good enough.
Yeah, exactly.
What about Sweden? Is it the case in Sweden that parental leave is compulsory for both partners?
Yeah, they have, I think, 480 days of parental leave, and fathers need to take 90 days. If they don't, they lose them. So they are not forced to go on parental leave, but there is like 3 months.
It's a kind of free benefit.
3 months of childcare that you can take if you want.
We already touched on this, but do you think there's been much progress here in the last, let's say, 30 years in this area, in this country?
I think in childcare there has been. In household chores, no. And it's not only in the Czech Republic, it's also in the Western countries that we can see quite a change in in taking care of kids. But in household, they say that the revolution stalled, or how do you say it? And it's not been moving, and I don't know why it is so difficult to move it.
Looking to the future, are you optimistic that more progress can be made?
Yeah, I am, because I see that we raise kids differently than the generation of my parents did. We talk more about this stuff. We pay more attention to emotions. We don't say stuff like, boys don't cry or stuff like that. And also we need more role models as well. That's true. But it's tight, it's connected. Like women are home doing unpaid work. That's why they are not seen in the public sphere and in the high executive positions where we need to see them.
Do you call yourself a feminist? Because I know for a lot of Czech women, even if they live like feminists, they don't like to use the word.
Yes, I do. Yes, I'm a feminist and my husband calls himself a feminist.
Well, that's unusual.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think it's so unusual here that people use the term?
Yeah, it's very loaded, the term. You know, I spent some time abroad. Maybe that's why it's not so difficult for me to say it. And I think it's just like they don't know what it means. They don't even know they are feminists if they behave and think and have the values, like feministic values. But it's like frowned upon here.
Yeah, it is frowned upon, but I still don't get why, you know. Everyone benefits, it seems to me, if we have feminism.
Yeah, sure. It's not just for women, of course. I also got so many hateful comments already because of this topic, you know, and it's part of this. Like they see, like a friend of mine told me, like, you have short hair. Sometimes I wear glasses. He was like, you look like a feminist. You look like a typical feminist. Of course, they're gonna hate you. Some say that it is because of our history that women didn't fight for feminist rights. Like in the Western countries, it was like given upon them by the Communist Party, and then it all changed, and it's all messy. Like people don't understand these feministic values, what it means and how important they are, because it was not a grassroots movement.
Many thanks indeed to Martina Dvořáková. You can find the audit, which is in Czech, on the website of her project called Férová domácnost, or Fair Household. And you can find many more episodes of Prague Talk, a podcast from Radio Prague International, wherever you came across this one. Why not check out a few of the earlier conversations in the series and subscribe wherever you get podcasts. But for now, from me, Ian Willoughby, thank you very much indeed for listening to Prague Talk, and talk to you again very soon.